was released was the same day that Independence Day Resurgence was released. Also, Free State of Jones and The Neon Demon. The Shallows should be top of that pile.
Was
Yes.
it Independence
Easy.
Day?
Of course. Which is garbage. I hate that film. It's a terrible film. It's an awful film. I was there opening weekend, and I did not see The Shallows in the cinema.
You're part of the problem.
I'm 100% part of the problem. And I saw Gravity. Pretty sure I saw 127 Hours, but there wasn't a lot of buzz when The Shallows came out. None that I saw anyway.
There wasn't. I mean, they did a bad market. I remember it being like a Blake Lively shark movie. It was kind of like, when Jennifer's Body came out and they were just
butchered
like,
that.
yeah, like
I've still never seen
just like Megan Fox in a movie, and it's like it does such a disservice to what it is. And I feel like they took that tact with here. And like, there's certainly, we talked about it in the beginning. She looks gorgeous, but to me, it wasn't because they were trying to like just do like pinup shots of her. Like, it was again to like put that color story in there, put that like sense of like fun and whatever in the audience before they really ratcheted it up. Like, there was purpose to her being all booby and leggy, I don't think they did a very good marketing campaign at all for this, which is, I guess, didn't matter in the end. Like, it made so much money.
Word of mouth, like Crawl. Remember when I saw that
Totally.
this movie had 79% on Rotten Tomatoes, I was like, yes, like this is good. And I saw the director, I was like, oh, okay, this dude knows what he's doing. And Crawl too. They didn't even screen Crawl for critics, and then it's up in the 80s. It's 84% right now. You should watch the latest Rotten Tomatoes verse. It's about disaster movies, and Crawl gets mentioned a lot. So just watch that episode on Rotten Tomatoes on YouTube. But I made sure to include a lot of Crawl references. But yeah, I think people are afraid to market these movies. Like, they're just, I don't know, like we have, but I mean, think about if you're the studio, like we have Blake Lively on a rock fighting a shark. Like, that's kind of hard to promote, I think. Maybe just show.
Or like,
I don't know.
not at all. Like, you just said that sentence to me and I'm like, I'm on board.
Yeah.
Like,
You're a little biased in being a big shark film fan.
totally.
That's true.
But that's who you market to, we've been comparing the movies a lot, quite a bit, but Deep Blue Sea and The Shallows stand out to me because they tapped those other reserves. Like, for any shark movie, you're always going to get the people who watch shark movies, even though we're like, oh, this is going to be garbage. But like, you still watch it. You maybe don't watch it right when it comes out, but like, we will eventually circle back to it at some point, which is why, you're able to like produce all these direct to DVD, blah, blah, blah. But for Deep Blue Sea and The Shallows, it tapped into those audiences that don't, and The Crawl is such a great comparison to this movie, because people who wouldn't normally go and watch those movies because they're scared or whatever, they went and watched it. Get Out was similar, where it was marketed as this horror movie, and a lot of people don't want to watch horror movies because they're scary, but it became a thing that you had to see. I don't think Shallows is to that level. Crawl to me is more just because, again, I think there's maybe more substance to it because it's not a shark, which seems insane.
This is a prestige alligator film. Rather than
Alejandra Aja made it for $15 million. And I will, the Green Knight looks amazing, but as a $15 million movie, I don't think they get any better looking than Crawl. I don't care. Yeah. I think with the amount of VFX, the shots, they show a lot of Gator. Oh, Gator. They show a lot of Gator in it. I think it's one of the best $15 million movies I've ever seen. So I just gotta throw that out there.
That low. And we were with Aja, we talked about this last time too, and I also just recently watched this movie before a lake trip. Piranha 3D.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, phenomenal.
Great movie. It's also really beautiful as well. And it's like obviously a lot more that if somebody said campy B movie to me, I would be like, yeah, for sure.
Confident campy B movie. Like an A+ B movie.
It's trying to be a B movie, and it succeeds and is a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it's great. They don't.
On Vimeo, they have an hour-and-a-half making of documentary about it. So if you want to learn a lot about Piranha, check that out.
I would love to learn. I loved the piranhas in that movie. And again, another movie with great CGI. I really hate CGI, but I think it's because so many shark movies just use absolutely garbage, terrible CGI or like cut in weird thing. And Sharknado is that to me when people are like, it's great. And it's like, no, it is so bad. All of it is so, so bad. But there's a lot of movies now I'm realizing. The Shallows, 47 Meters Down has pretty great CGI in it as well. Spoiler alert for that. But yeah, Piranha 3D. I imagine there's a lot of CGI in Crawl. So
No, they trained real gators.
yeah, those are real gators doing those stunts.
They lost
Oh
the
my
first few actors they cast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we should.
Barry
joke
Pepper
about
was not the
that,
first
'cause
choice.
That's happened.
Yeah.
R.I.P. the stuntmen in the Burt Reynolds movie Shark, because that definitely happened. So
I do want to say though, John Leonetti shot Piranha 3D, and that dude nailed it. He has done some pretty big movies, by the way. So I think, and he became a director. He shot Hot Shots Part 2. I think that's why it looks so good. Just want to get that out there.
Mark, your references to great movies are sometimes questionable.
Yeah, Hot Shots Part 2. It's great.
It is great.
Gummy bears, sprinkles, sprinkles. All right, cool.
It's no top secret,
Sorry.
but it's good.
Yeah. I just had to throw that out there because Jay and I
I
talked about
appreciate
Piranha
it.
3D, and Piranha 3D only has like a 5.4 IMDb score. That's really annoying.
It's ridiculous.
Crazy to me.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know
you
how
know.
you watch that and go, I hate this movie. Maybe it's too bloody and mean because, I mean,
It's
it
very
goes there.
corny. It's
It-
I like that it's that gory.
Maybe
I
that
don't
caught
know.
people off guard though, because that
Yeah.
scene where the lady's head gets ripped off from
Yeah. it's
the boat.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, and like even I like that they killed people in that movie, which is a horrible thing to say, but
It's what we're watching
Like-
it for. I don't know.
yeah.
I mean,
And even this movie, like people die in this movie, and
only
you know,
one
it
of them
is-
deserves it.
yeah. I don't know. Those surfers call her little girl in the beginning, and you're like,
But that's
really?
kind of
No, I'm
that's
just
like
kidding.
gentle teasing. Like the guy who's trying to rob her, bite him in half, leave him for
Oh
dead.
my God, Jay, you're an apologist. No,
I'm the problem. We've established this.
we have established this. But yeah, like people get cut up and die in this movie too. I like that you don't see it. I think it's interesting. It's really interesting reading interviews with the director too, and how like effusive he is over Blake Lively, because that shot where it's just her reacting, he's like, we gave her one shot to do it, and then he's like, she nailed it. And other than that, it was going to be like another shark attacking people scene. And so I think the fact that they were able to really use her in that way too, and deflect from seeing what the shark is doing. And so when you actually finally saw him like cut up some people, it was like gnarly. Like when he jumps out of the water, I keep saying the shark is a he, I know it's a she. When she jumps out of the water to get that one surfer, like you are surprised, you know what I mean? To like really see how vicious this thing is. And like the footage on the video is super terrifying, and like,
And
Like-
I like the use of the waves of people just like disappearing behind the wave, just to build the tension. Like, where are they going? Are they dead? Are they alive? Are they coming this way? Going that way? I like that. Wasn't overused. They used it twice, but it worked very well both times.
yeah, the film, yeah, like the way they put the camera on the water is so, like, you know, again, it's like the Chrissy death scene. Like, it's so terrifying where it's like, you know, you're just waiting for it to pop out from under the water. And again, they don't use it very often. They use it when she's in the buoy thing. I don't know what to call that other than a buoy, but
I call it a boy, so I don't know.
a boy,
It's different, yeah. Different
it is,
countries.
it's something metal with fast chains.
Yeah, it's
So,
a buoy, it's a boy.
but yeah, again, like a lot of the time when the camera is in the water, you don't actually see the shark, but you're still expecting it. And then so when you're not expecting it does come, like there's just really great filming in this. But the wave scenes are, yeah, it's particularly terrifying.
Wow,
This whole movie is terrifying.
I love it. And those wave scenes are great.
me too.
And I love how like just gratuitous they are. I love the dolphin jump scare because you need to have those in movies that keep you awake. But I love how, I don't know, it embraces those scares too, which I like. So
Yeah.
that makes me happy.
It doesn't feel cheap. Like a lot of the time jump scares feel cheap. In movies, like they didn't have any better ideas, but like the dolphin jump scare, like when Ben Gardner's head pops out of the boat, like that's a jump scare, but it doesn't feel cheap. And it serves a purpose too. Like it calms her down. And then, as we said, the dolphins, who are evil and vindictive, lead her to that eaten whale. And they are the true demons in this movie.
I was hoping for a cat jump scare, but there wasn't one. That kind of bummed me out.
a seagull jump scare, maybe something else.
Yeah. Rick Siegel comes and joins.
But even that, and then when she like kind of flips under the water too, with when the seagulls do sort of scare her, and then the sort of loud violin when the shark goes underneath her, like, this is well done, man. This is well done. This whole movie is well done. I'm a little bit worried about the director entering into superhero world. There's a great, I think it was Angelica Jade Bastion who talked about, because Olivia Wilde is going to direct a Marvel movie as well, and sort of taking these directors who are making really great movies in sort of the medium budget range, and then now that they're going to be blockbusters, like worrying about flattening them as well. You know, like what's going to happen to this guy? Is he going to be able to make his movies like this, or is he going to forever be in this sort of blockbuster world where you don't really get to be creative anymore? Like, I know some people like the Marvel and the DC movies, but they're very prescribed and formulaic in their own ways. So I would be sad to see him go that route and no longer sort of get to make an off-the-cuff shark movie or whatever sort of suits him. You know, he talked about a lot of his earlier previous films having the same energy of The Shallows. So I would hate for him to be sort of sucked up into the tractor beam of Hollywood, even though it's great that he's, you know, being celebrated. So.
Well, that happened in Jungle Cruise.
Yeah, it's already happening. So hopefully, I don't know. Now I can't think of the director I'm thinking of. But almost like a Richard Linklater sometimes, where it's like, you know, no, not even, because School of Rock is great, but
yeah, I prefer his high budget stuff to his low budget stuff. So.
Yeah, like he'll make the high budget so he can make the low budget. I always think of Jake Gyllenhaal with that. He'll do a Spider-Man so that he can do like a weird arty movie.
Yeah, that art movie, Velvet Buzzsaw, or one of those.
Yeah.
Oh, that was terrible. Okay, so we need to wrap this up. I think we're running a little long. One thing we need to do first. Do you reckon that how in comparison to Deep Blue Sea, is it deeper and bluer? What do we think? Ooh. It's a film called The Shallows.
Yeah.
What do we think? What do we think?
Deeper. Definitely not deeper.
No. Yeah, it's definitely. Well, you know what? It's higher than Deep Blue Sea. Wait, no, it's. Well, she's on ocean level the entire time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's a very, very shallow film in that the average comes out as above sea level.
Yes.
So it just works out about half a meter or like 1.5 feet up in the air because she spends a lot of time up on rocks or the buoy or on land, etc. And Blue, the bluest Deep Blue Sea film is Deep Blue Sea 3, which is 41.5% blue. This one is almost 70% blue. This is the bluest film I've ever seen.
Oh.
It's because everything at night has this like midnight blue tinge to it. There's a lot of underwater stuff. A lot of underwater. Yeah, it's blue everywhere. It's great. Yeah. But all I need, obviously, filmmakers just want to make the deepest, bluest film ever. That's the main aim for filmmakers.
Yeah.
But make your credits blue. Make the background of your credits blue. You're gonna skyrocket in the scores. That's my tip for everyone out there. Make your credits blue. You'll be hitting the highs on these charts.
Yeah, the end of this movie is really colorful, right? Like it all goes Technicolor at the end.
It does. And it could have been blue. It's the ocean. It could have been completely blue. They went and throw in some reds and some greens and some oranges. What are they doing? They're just throwing their scores away. I don't know. So, Kate, thank you for joining us. This has been...
Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure to come on and yell about movies.
We'll have to have you back. We've dipped our toe into our Deep Blue Sea adjacent water, and I think it's going well so far. So I'm sure the listeners want to know what we're talking about next week. Next week, no sharks, no Rennie Harlin, but I think next week might be a deeper film.
Oh, way deeper.
We're talking about The Abyss next week. A film I think I saw a long time ago, but have very little recollection of other than a CGI face. So we'll talk more about that next week. But Kate, do you have anything you wish to plug?
I guess read my blog. It's still on Medium. I'm out of Medium jail. I know you guys are concerned about that. I'm finally out of Medium jail, so that's exciting. Can't take my hot takes. Follow my blog on Medium. It's just my name, or I link to it on Twitter. And I'm about to, speaking of parallels to Deep Blue Sea, I'm about to parallel into a new sort of series on the adjacent creature features that came out right after Jaws. So stay tuned for that. And that's about it. Orca, greatest movie around. Spoiler alert, love Orca.
Can't find it anywhere. I need to watch it for this. I can't find it anywhere.
It is on Google Play, or you
not
can
in the
buy
UK.
It. Oh, there's a wonderful Canadian film site. I'll plug them. Unobstructed View. They have it to purchase on Blu-ray and DVD, so you can do it there. Yeah, Orca, Tentacles, Day of the Living Animal, Grizzly, all those great movies. So stay tuned for that. A little bit of a different series.
Yeah, turns out a lot of films people want to discuss on this show, I can't find for love nor money.
Yeah. So, I feel you on that. We're in Canada doesn't always have everything.
If anybody has a copy of The Adventures of Ford Fairlane out there and wants to just send me an email, then please, by all means. It never got a UK release.
Yeah,
So-
send stuff to Jay, guys.
Yeah,
He
please
needs the
do.
mail. So.
But listeners, you can read more of my stuff over at lifeversusfilm.com, and the usual blogs. Blamcast,